You're listening to the CyberLex Leadership Podcast, the home of serious CISA learners and future audit leaders. If you want more than memorization, if you want to think, reason, and operate like a true IS auditor, this is where serious auditors are made. Batch jobs are one of the most heavily tested topics in Domain 4 because they sit at the intersection of processing integrity, availability, system reliability, audit evidence, governance accountability. CISA wants candidates to understand a key truth. A job showing success does not mean processing was accurate, complete, authorized, or properly monitored. This is where most CISA takers fail the logic in the exam. One answer will focus on status, check that the job completed successfully. Another will focus on logs, review success logs, but the correct answer typically focuses on control design, reconciliation, exception handling, completeness validation, authorization, and workflow governance. The exam is not testing whether you know how IT runs jobs. It is testing whether you know what must exist to ensure data correctness, what the auditor must verify to confirm integrity, what constitutes a true processing control, what makes a finding versus a mere observation. Batch jobs are deceptively simple. That's why ISACA loves them. The scenario: it's month-end close. A core banking system sends a daily settlement file to the general ledger. Operations proudly reports all batch jobs completed successfully for the last 30 days. But during reconciliation, finance notices something odd. The GL totals don't match the core banking totals. The variance is not huge, but it's consistent. Every job run shows status, success. The interface file arrives on time every night. The settlement report is generated as usual. Yet the reconciliation fails repeatedly. When you dig into the file, you see, the file was generated. The file was transmitted. The file was loaded, but several records are missing. The system processed 0 record segments without triggering an error. Operations insists everything is fine. The job ran. It shows green. No errors. But finance is escalating because the numbers do not match. This is where the information security auditor steps in. Juniors often stop where IT stops. The job ran successfully. There were no error logs. The file was delivered. The job status is green. The system didn't throw an exception. They focus on execution, not integrity. They assume if the job ran, processing is correct. If there is no error, there is no issue. If IT says it's fine, it must be fine. If the system didn't fail, controls are effective. This is natural but incomplete, because juniors look at the surface signals instead of the underlying controls. Audit leaders zoom out differently. They ask, 1. Where's the control that validates completeness? A success status only means the script executed, the job didn't crash, the scheduler didn't stop it, the file path existed. It does not mean all records were processed. 2. Where is the reconciliation control? Leaders expect source totals, destination totals, hash totals, record count, amount total, variance explanation workflow, management review. If reconciliation catches the issue, this proves the job was successful, but the control environment was not. 3. Where is the exception handling workflow? Missing records should have created an alert, a ticket, a failed control log, a monitored exception. If none exist, control design failure. 4. Who owns the failure? Leaders immediately look at governance. Is it IT's control or finance's control? Is completeness monitored at the source or destination? Is operations ignoring silent failures? This is the real audit mindset. Here's the part most exam takers never understand. CISA does not reward checking the status of a process. It rewards checking the controls that validate the result. This is the exam's logic. Job status: success equals irrelevant. Review logs equals incomplete. Ask IT to rerun the job equals reactive, not risk-based. Verify reconciliation and completeness controls equals correct. The exam expects you to think. The problem here is not that the job ran incorrectly. The real problem is that no control detected the missing records. That is the governance angle. Correct CISA mindset. Look at the control, not the system. Validate integrity, not execution. Assess design, not claims. Verify monitoring, not status. This is how you pass advanced CISA questions. A real auditor would gather 1. Job scheduler logs, start time, end time, success or failure, manual override, skip steps. 2. Interface control documentation, mapping specs, field definitions, expected totals. 3. Exception reports, missing records, empty batches, reconciliation variances, dropped file segments. 4. Reconciliation logs, finance, source total, destination total, variance, adjustment logs. 5. Monitoring evidence, alerts generated, thresholds, alert response logs, ticketing system entries. 6. Data processing workflow, who reviews variances, how frequently, what approvals are needed, what happens when something fails. 7. System design evidence, does the system validate record counts? Does it detect empty segments? Does it require manual checks? This is what transforms the scenario into a real audit lesson. The true risk is not the job status, the file arrival, the scheduler configuration. The true risk is silent data loss resulting in inaccurate financial reporting. This affects GL integrity, revenue reporting, customer account balances, regulatory accuracy, month-end close, downstream systems. This is a high risk because data was incomplete, no control caught it. Variance detection relied on finance noticing manually. It believed everything was fine. This is exactly the type of operational risk Domain 4 is testing. Processing success is meaningless without control success. Batch jobs will always run. Systems will always say success. But governance asks a different question. Who is watching correctness? Who is validating integrity? Who is accountable for completeness? Automation doesn't replace controls. It requires better ones. You've just sharpened your audit judgment, and that's how serious auditors are made. For deeper mastery, explore the CISA Gold Standard series on Amazon. We don't just help you pass, we help you become someone the field can rely on.